Okay, so mindfulness brings a lot of benefits to companies. We've trained more than 400 companies around the world, and people in companies nowadays are really suffering from what's called attention deficit trait. Simply the inability to pay attention, to be focused and present with each other. And mindfulness helps people to be more focused with their task, thereby a little bit faster, making less mistakes. Helps people to be more effective when they're together in meetings and so on. And what we find is that the research is finding that people are more effective, people are more collaborative, people have more happiness, people are having more well-being and much less stress. Multitasking, at least from a scientific point of view, I come from a research background, multitasking is really the mother of all evil when it comes to performance. Multitasking basically makes us more slow, it makes us make many more mistakes, it hampers our creativity, and a number of other negative things for us. So if we want to be more effective, we have to really do one thing at a time, be really disciplined about being focused on what we do it quickly, and then move on to the next thing. So the title of the book might sound funny. People think that mindfulness is about being in the present moment, which it is very much about being here right now. The whole title of the book, 1 Second Ahead, comes from a finance director in a large institution who said that he felt so busy that he was on autopilot. He said, I'm under so much pressure, getting so many emails, that I feel I'm in autopilot, I'm in reactivity mode. Every time I get an email, I just respond to it. Every time something happens, I'm just on it. And he said that mindfulness gave him 1 second of freedom in his mind to choose the most appropriate response to any situation, moment to moment. And that enabled him as a leader to be more empathetic, to be more focused, and to be more prioritized in everything he did. So 1 second ahead is about being 1 second ahead of our own thoughts and all the distractions out there so we can be more effective. So the attention economy is wholly this whole idea that we used to measure performance and productivity in how much time we had to solve a task and the skills that we had to do it. But what we are finding nowadays is that our attention is so scattered that even if we have 2 hours to complete a task and we have all the knowledge to do it, if we don't have the attentional ability to really be focused, we will constantly be somewhere else, which means we're not productive. So the attention economy is the world we're living in now, where attention is just as important as time and as qualifications. So one of the things that people do when they get up in the morning is to check their emails the first thing. What happens to the mind is that when we check and we see that whole stream of emails coming from yesterday, is that our mind becomes very much directed towards the past, and it becomes very detail-oriented. And that's a real shame, because that means we start the day with a mind that is very narrow and very much looking at the past. It's a shame because the morning is the time where the mind is most focused, it's where we're most creative, and it's where we have the biggest expansive mind. So we should really spend that time for important meetings, important conversations, for the deep work with important tasks, and not details from yesterday. So I very much remember my days in the Sony Corporation, where everybody would jump into the first meeting at, say, 9 o'clock, and they would sit there from 9 to 10, and at 10:05, because everybody's always going overtime, everybody would run out of that meeting into the next meeting. Everybody would be too late for that second meeting. And what happens is that we are still mentally being in the first meeting, meaning the first 15 minutes of any meeting, most people are really not present. They are thinking about what they should be doing. Then the next half an hour, maybe they'll be checking their devices to check emails or news. And the last 15 minutes, they'll be thinking about the next meeting they're going to. So in terms of mindfulness, that can be a really, really effective way of preparing ourselves to be fully present with the people we are with and with the agenda that we're there to discuss. And the way we can do it is 2 things. First of all, as we walk to a meeting, take that time to wind down, take that time to let go of what we just came from. Really become fully present so that when we're in the meeting, we are in the meeting. Second thing we can do is to always end the meetings 5 minutes before the hour, so that everybody has that time to actually transition to the next one. So attention is a scarce commodity today, but it's something that we can actually train and we can become much better at it. A lot of research has documented this, and it's because of what is called neuroplasticity. Basically, the way the brain functions is what we do is what the brain becomes. So for every moment we pay attention, from a neurological point of view, we are rewiring our brain to be stronger in paying attention again and again. So by practicing the ability to stay focused on one thing for a given time, our brain becomes better at that. So mindfulness training is basically learning to train our attention by sitting down deliberately for 10 minutes a day, focusing on our breath. Just do that. Every time we get distracted, we come back to the breath. We get distracted, back to the breath. Every time we do that, we train our attentional muscle. So one thing I would add is, if you want to know more about the attention economy, or specifically how can you have more focus and well-being in your work life, then this book is definitely giving all the answers. It's got 18 fantastic simple tips on how you can become more mindful and thereby have better performance and better well-being at work.